Welcome to another episode of A Faceless Breed in America, a show where we discuss news stories from both sides of the Atlantic, both sides of the pond, if you like. And over in the United Kingdom, there has been a story that's been making headlines throughout the week of a 12-year-old girl who was kicked out of a class for wearing a Union flag dress. You know, the Union flag dress. So basically, in America, it will be the equivalent of a student showing up at school dressed in the American flag, you know, adapted to look like a dress. And so basically, what happened is this girl, she showed up on this cultural celebration day where they meant to celebrate everybody's background, everybody's diversity. And she got told by the school that no, that's not going to happen. This day is mainly focused on celebrating minorities, not the locals to the United Kingdom. And I'm going to let you hear from the girl directly because I'm going to play the video in a minute. But it's just shocking to hear the reasons that the school gave the girl, because apparently the girl was also meant to give a speech. All right, so apparently she's a smart student, and according to her father, she's actually a straight-A student. So she had been selected to actually give a speech on this particular day. And so the 12-year-old kid thought, you know, what better way for me to talk about my Britishness, for me to talk about my heritage, my background, where I'm from, than to actually show up wearing this Union Jack dress. Only to be told by the school that no, the day is actually meant to celebrate any culture besides the British culture. In England, imagine this is how far the systems, the institutions here in the United Kingdom have deteriorated. And this is not just a United Kingdom issue. This is a widespread epidemic or pandemic, whatever demic you want to call it. But this is something that is spread all throughout Europe, and you are beginning to see it in America as well, where people are burning the American flag and raising the Palestinian flag. There just seems to be a shift all of a sudden in society where the American flag is not celebrated but hated, the Union Jack is not celebrated but hated, and is slowly being removed by other flags from other nations. I bet you what though, had this girl shown up dressed in another culture's dress, and we're not going to say names at the moment, but I bet you had she shown up dressed in like a burqa, dressed in whatever other people from wherever parts of the world put on, I'm sure she would have been celebrated. I'm sure that the school would have actually embraced her open-mindedness. Would have embraced, you know, how daring it was for her to consider wearing something from Pakistan or something from India or something from Saudi Arabia. So how come, if it's all right for all the other kids to come in and celebrate their cultures, what's wrong with British culture? What's wrong with English culture? Let us hear from the girl and the dad, you know, what happened on the day. Because this is something that's getting out of hand. Let's play the video. I'll come back and I'll tell you about what's been happening in France as well, because similar things have been popping up and happening all throughout Europe. Okay, let's take it from here.
For Diversity Day, Year 7 student Courtney Wright wore this Spice Girls style British flag outfit to Bilton School in Warwickshire. What a great idea. I mean, after all, the school's flyer urged the students to wear attire reflecting their family's nationality and heritage. But you guessed it, being proud of your British heritage wasn't good enough, and 12-year-old Courtney was sent home.
first teacher I saw, she straight away just took me to go get changed. She didn't want to hear about my dress or see it. She just straight away wanted to get changed and not be in it. Another teacher tried to stop me and said, you can't be in that, it's your nationality and not your culture.
Your nationality, not your culture? What is that supposed to even mean? Well, you would think that after such a thing has transpired, you'd expect that Downing Street, the equivalent of the White House in America, will come out because, a big, strong leader, a Trump-esque character, would come out and condemn this in the strongest terms possible. But quite the contrary, because unfortunately in the UK there is no such thing as a strong leader in the realm of Donald Trump. In fact, the spineless leadership in the United Kingdom over there at Downing Street sent out a spokesperson, and they say that we are a tolerant, diverse, open country. We are proud of being British. Yeah, right. I think the school has put out a statement apologizing for this specific incident. And so I'm not going to comment any further on that. But the PM has always been clear that being British is something to be celebrated. Not going to comment any further. That's what the Downing Street has got to say. They say, well, the school has already put out a statement and we're not going to comment any further. No moral outrage, no condemnation, just not going to comment any further. Far-right activist Tommy Robinson has since caught wind of the story and invited Courtney and Mr. Field to his next public event. Robinson wrote on X that they stopped this brave little girl giving her speech in a classroom of 30 pupils. Millions will watch as she delivered her speech on stage on September 15th in London. And I can already see the reception she will receive. So Tommy Robinson, quite a controversial figure over in United Kingdom. He's one of the outspoken people there, fighting for rights, fighting for freedom of speech, and all the while having his own right and freedom of speech being violated by the British government and being thrown in prison at every corner, every turn possible for simply speaking his mind. And this is what makes this whole story even more poignant. It seems like British values are under attack, and anything from any other place in the world is quite tolerable and celebrated in the United Kingdom. And the teacher told the young lady that this Union Jack is her nationality and not her culture. Since he's the teacher, why not teach the girl exactly what is British culture? What is the definition then of British culture? What is it? I bet you he don't know. I bet you if you asked him, he'll say fish and chips or something along those lines. Because we, as Brits, have lost sight of our values, and this began with the Labour government under Tony Blair. The erosion of the family values, the erosion of national pride, and the locals just looking at our culture as something to be frowned upon. And then came the uncontrolled, high, ridiculous levels of immigration. And that did not make things any better, because now you've got a blended nation that's mixing with cultures from other different places from all over around the world, whilst you don't have your own identity and your own pride. Because on some level, you have to stand for something and have your own values and be proud of your culture where you come from. Otherwise, in a globalized world where everything is interconnected, travel can happen so easily. You will be overtaken and overrun. And they are now having problems in a place like France, where the migrants that have come in can now tell French nationals that they are banned from visiting or going to certain places in France. Outrageous. And so, at this rate, it might not be surprising that English might cease to be the official language spoken in England. Because obviously we know that there are elements that would rather have the country be a theocracy and not a democracy. We're living in interesting times. And to see that such a thing as national pride can be frowned upon, and especially children being stopped from celebrating who they are. But I betcha if this young girl had said that she feels like she's stuck in the wrong body, she would have been put on a pedestal and had the whole school come out and clap hands for her. That's been our episode today. Please like and subscribe the channel, and we'll be back again with another episode. Share and leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section. Can you believe what's happening in the United Kingdom? Do you agree with it or disagree? Do you believe that a society should have strong principles on which they stand on? Or do you believe that culture should be flexible, or we should only celebrate cultures from other places and not our own in the Western world? Thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ta.